Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Girl Talk at the Dan Gable Museum. On this week's episode, we had the opportunity to sit down with Kristi Blanc. Her husband, Obi, is the assistant coach at North Dakota State University. He was also an All-American for Lock Haven and was the 2013 U.S. World Team Trials Champion and U.S. Open Champion. I hope you guys enjoy. Hey guys, we're here with Kristi Blanc, and her husband, Obenson, is the assistant coach at North Dakota State University. Hey Kristi.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. It's a pleasure being here.
Oh, you're so sweet. Okay, so how did you and Ob meet?
Well, we actually met. We both attended Lock Haven University, and I believe we met sophomore year in sociology class. And literally, he was like one of those boys where he would sit behind me and kick the back of my chair. In the beginning, I was so annoyed. I was like, listen, all I need to do is just study and pay attention. But he would like joke, and anywhere I moved, he would move behind me, and he would like just kick my chair. And after that, he did that for maybe a few times, and then we just started talking and just became really good friends.
I love that. I love that he used to kick the back of your seat in class. That's awesome.
It's like what you hear in TV was like a little kid story, right?
Yes, that's so funny. So what was y'all's first date like?
Honestly, I was like talking to him about that last night. I was like, did we even go on an official first date? Because how it was when we became friends, we studied together, and then when class was over, he asked me if I could help him with his math. And I was like, okay, yeah, I can help you. And I remember helping him, and in my mind, I'm like, he does not need any help. Like, he understands it. Like, he's getting it, so why is he asking me for help? And it didn't click in because we were just friends. And then one of my friends actually really liked Obi a lot. And I was trying to hook him up with her. And he was like, no, I don't see us being together. I don't see anything, you know. And I'm like, come on, just give her a chance. Just give her a chance. And I was really trying really hard, and he kept on telling me no. And I was like, okay, well, whatever. And then the one day we were studying, and I'm like, well, why won't you just go on a date with her just to see? She's really nice. And he's like, no, I'm not interested. And I remember we were studying, and he just leaned over and, like, kissed me. And I was like, what was that about? So, part of me felt like he was interested, but we were such good friends that I didn't even want to think about it. So I think after that, we just started just talking and becoming close. And so we didn't really go on official, real date. We're both very just trying to get to know each other, and I didn't want to ruin the friendship. But yeah, we just got to know each other, and then eventually we just kind of made it official after I spoke to my friend about it. I really didn't want to date him because how much she liked him, but yeah.
Oh, that's a cool story. So when you spoke to your friend about it, like, was your friend understanding? Did she kind of get it, or was she upset?
Well, no, I was like, listen, he's not, I try and he's not interested, but apparently he's interested in me. And she's like, oh, okay. I'm like, I really don't plan on anything. It just happened, and he's really kind. Maybe I should just try to get to know him. He's really funny, and that's my mom always said, if you find a guy who makes you laugh, just give him a chance. So she's like, oh, no, it's okay. And I think she was okay. She didn't act like she was upset or anything like that. And I'm the type where I will be straight up with you, and I'll talk to you about it before anything happens.
Absolutely. That's awesome. Man, that's a really cool story. I love that. Your intentions were not even to date him, and then you wound up falling for him, and now y'all are married. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking, and I remember one time, which he was a wrestler then too. He's like, do you know who he is? I'm like, no, and I don't care. I just need to focus on my schoolwork.
I love that. That is awesome. That's going to be a really cool story to tell your girls about later on.
Yes.
Okay, so what was your wrestling background prior to meeting Obe?
I had zero knowledge of it. I knew about the sport and everything, but I knew nothing about it. In the beginning, he invited me to go see him, and I would always have a test to study for, and it was things like that. But eventually, after we started talking to each other, and I would go to every single home match, and obviously I just kind of picked things up as we go. But yeah, now I love it. I wouldn't miss it for anything.
That's great. It kind of captivated you and sucked you into the culture, huh?
Yes, and plus, when I really truly care about someone, I will make that time to really get to know it, not only for myself, but for them.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. That way you can enjoy in it with the person that you love as well.
Yes, absolutely.
That is beautiful. Okay, so you guys recently moved from Raleigh, North Carolina, to Fargo, North Dakota. Can you describe some differences between the two?
I mean, the big difference is obviously the weather, the winter. In the beginning, when Coach Kish reached out to OB about getting a job here, and he told me about it, I was like, oh my gosh, no, absolutely not. Because in my first mind, it's like the cold. I grew up in Pennsylvania, so I knew all about the cold. And then when we moved, after we got married and moved to North Carolina, I was like, oh, I love this. I love the weather. It's definitely a place that I really want to settle down in. But I was like, oh, well, I don't know if we could live here and everything. But after being here, and especially now, it's not bad like everyone tells me about. I mean, sure, we have the cold and the wind, but for being a girl that despises the cold, I don't mind it. And the people are really kind. It gets a little cold during the winter time when the wind is blowing, but as long as you have a coat, and obviously you're not out there for an hour or two, but it's not bad. I mean, the people are really sweet, and it's beautiful. So I really think once you're out here, then you really know what it's like. I think people judge it way too soon, and I most certainly did that in the beginning as well. But after visiting here and just meeting people, it's been great.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that the people are so supportive and kind. That's got to make leaving the South, where I'm from, and I know people are kind down there, but it's got to make that transition a lot easier to know that there are really supportive, awesome, kind people out there behind you guys.
Yes, absolutely.
And I feel you on the wind thing. The wind in Iowa, man. Whew. I feel like that's cold in the snow.
And I think once your body adjusts to it, you don't even feel it too much anymore.
No, you're right. Once it gets to be about like this time every year around February, I'll go outside when it's like 34 degrees, but the wind's not blowing and the sun's out. And I'm like, oh, it's warm. Like, I don't even need a jacket out anymore.
Yes, I told Obie, I said, if I can make it through this winter, anyone can, because I really don't like the cold, and it's not bad like what everyone keeps on saying.
No, there's bad days, but it's not, the majority of it isn't all negative temperatures and crazy, And like you said, you just don't stay outside very long when it's crazy bad weather in the negative. You just throw your bell in and you're good to go. I like that. Okay, so you guys have two beautiful daughters, Eliana, who is 3, and Zoa, who is 2. How have they adjusted to life in North Dakota?
They absolutely love it. I would joke, I've been like, do you miss our blue house in Raleigh? And they're like, yes, but I like it here in Fargo. They love it, and I think it's because of the snow. We had one experience of snow when we lived in Raleigh, and it was very tiny. So, and they were young. Eliana was very young then, so she didn't really enjoy it. But they really love it here. Anytime it snows, you should see their face. It's like a kid on Christmas every day. And they just love being outside. They like to explore. And here, obviously, being that it's colder, they have a lot of indoor activities. So they love it. Now that I'm staying home with them for a little while, we go different places, and they really love it. I think they enjoy it here more than the South.
That's awesome. And I saw recently that you guys, speaking of indoor activities, that you guys went and did like a pottery day. Did they love that?
Yes. I am very OCD, and I always wanted like things in order. But I was like, okay, listen, you have to let them do however they want. But we went there. They got to pick out their own pottery and their paints, the colors, and then they just went at it. And it's a very memorable things, and I think they really will treasure it later on.
Oh, absolutely. That sounds like so much fun. So you said they love the snow. Are they also Frozen fans with Disney?
Yes, they are obsessed. When the movie first came out, we took them, and that was their first time seeing the movie, and they sat the whole time. They were glued to the screen. They sat, and I was shocked. I thought maybe at least Zoa would get up and down a little bit, but no, they sat and they watched the movie. And Eliana was really sad on the way home, and I asked her why, and she told me because when Elsa was sick, when she was frozen, Anna had to go and help. And she's like, I would never want anything to happen to Zola. And it was really sweet that she relates stories to her own life. So, yes, they're very obsessed. We probably watch Frozen maybe 3-4 times a day. And I think even Obi can recite the songs for you.
That is so cute. I love it. I would love to be a fly on the wall when Obi is reciting the Frozen theme song.
They love it because they'll watch it and then they act it out. They sing it, and Obi sings along with them. So it's really cute.
Oh, that is so sweet. That is the epitome of the girl dad hashtag right there. I love it.
Yes.
Okay, so what role do you play with the North Dakota State wrestlers?
Well, right now, being that we're fairly new, I'm still trying to get to know the guys and the families. I feel as if family connections are very important. As a mom, like you want your kid to go off to school knowing that they're safe and that they at least have somebody to talk to, or just having someone if they ever need anything at all, whether it's like a home-cooked meal or just homework help or things like that. So I would definitely like to get to know the guys better. We started to doing something like a team meal each time, like a day before the home match. So other coaches' wives and I would get together and we would cook chicken breast, pasta, veggies, and salad. Instead of catering in, we figured obviously it's just more personal, and it gives the guys an understanding how much we actually value them as a wrestler, So, yeah, we've been doing home-cooked meals for them, and ever since then, lately, they've been doing great. So hopefully it's because of the food.
Oh, I definitely think it's because of the food and the love vibes that they're getting from you ladies, putting all that care into making these home-cooked meals for them, because I know that is a lot to feed an entire wrestling team. I mean, those boys eat a lot.
It is, but I honestly, I find joy out of it only because I feel like being a mom, I would be like, oh, wow, my son has at least home-cooked meal there. Because, boys, they probably go to the cafeteria or they order some takeout, and it's not the same as your mommy's home cooking. I mean, I'm sure it's not the same as their parents' home cooking, but at least it's something that they can fuel their body with, rather than it's Chinese cookout or pizza.
No, absolutely. I think that's a close second to having their moms cooking for them. So speaking of food, I have heard that you make phenomenal pho. Do the wrestlers ask you to cook that for them at all?
Not yet. I'm not sure if these wrestlers really know about it yet, but when we lived in North Carolina, we did have a lot of meals when it comes to Vietnamese. Like I'll do spring rolls and I'll do pho, and a lot of the coaches and the freestyle wrestler would come over and they would eat. But I would absolutely love to make for them someday. I recently cooked for one of the wrestlers. I met one of the coaches and his wife, and Coach Pack, Cody Pack. He is very picky, but he actually really enjoys it. So hopefully it's a good sign, but I would love to have people over to try it and just get a little culture, and I think they would enjoy it as well, especially for the cold weather.
Oh, yeah, pho is phenomenal for cold weather. You've got my mouth drooling over here talking about spring rolls, and ooh, that sounds delicious. So how do you juggle being a mom and a coach's wife and still making time for Kristi?
I mean, I really just do one thing at a time. I just feel as if God put me here to be a wife and a mom. I just try to give everybody a little piece of me, and at night, I would just reflect on what else I could do more. I just being that to make me happy is seeing that the people that I love happy. I just want to make sure that my girls really feel that they are very loved. And I didn't realize how much I missed out whenever I was working. Now that I'm staying home for a little bit, I see so much growth in them that I didn't see when I would go to work and then they would go to school and we would pick them up. And so I really miss out on that. So I'm definitely treasuring all the time with them. And then as for Obi, I just truly want him to be happy because he's the head of the household, and I just want to make sure that he knows how much I value him, and as a husband and as well as a father. He is a great father to the girls. He's a great dad, and I really am not just saying that because I'm married to him, but I just see when he would play with the girls and I sit back and I'm like, wow, like I love the way he interacts with them and how he just really takes time to let them be them. Like he let them pretend to paint his nails, or just every night when he would come home, they would get on his back or they would play hide and seek and he would have to go find them. So it's definitely something that I really treasure. So I wouldn't say that I'm having a hard time finding me time, because me time is giving my time to them.
That's beautiful. That's very selfless, and that gives me some phenomenal insight into you and into your relationship with Obi. And I think it's very beautiful what you guys have built and created.
You.
Yeah. So if you could go back before your relationship with Obi and tell yourself one piece of advice, what would it be?
Probably just be patient. So in college we dated and we did long distance. So I graduated from Black Haven and he transferred. He had a year left and he transferred to Oklahoma. So he finished his last year at OSU and then he did grad school there. So we did long distance for a while. And I would call him and he wouldn't return my call. And I'm like, what is going on? And then when he does call, he complains how he's tired and that he would call me tomorrow. And I'm like, listen, that's the only thing that we have. So it was definitely tough. But now obviously understand it's not that he didn't want to talk to me, just that it's really tiring. So I definitely just, if I could give advice to anyone who's dating and any athletes, just be very patient and just be supportive. Give them space when they need them, and then just let them know that you're definitely there no matter what happens, whether it's a win or it's loss, but just really being there and just be very patient with them.
That's some phenomenal advice. I wish I could have had you in my ear about 5 years ago. That would have been great. But I definitely like how you say to be patient and then to also let them know that you're there and you're supportive at the same time. That is, I
did not always understand that back then, but I definitely do now.
Yes, it takes some time to learn these little tricks, but I appreciate you sharing that with us.
Of course.
Can you tell me something about Obi that most people don't know?
Hmm. Obies tend to be open but closed. Maybe one thing I would say is he definitely has a beautiful soul. He not only wants the best for himself, but for the people around him. If he sees something good in you, he'll push you to the limit to get it. And he does not see based on the outside. Like if he sees something that you're good at, he really try to push you to be, and it's in no way that benefits him, but he just really wants the best for everyone. And I think that's why I fell for him in the first place. In my mind, I was like, no, this is not something that I want. But he definitely has a beautiful soul, and he will take care of anyone and everyone if they truly need it. And it has nothing to do with him. It just everything to do with other people. And when he has a goal for them, he wants them to strive it to the greatest.
No, absolutely. That is beautiful. I think that says a lot about Obi's character, not only as a coach, but as a human. And I like when coaches aren't just concerned about wins and losses, and their focus is on the bigger picture. And that's very beautiful.
Yes, I agree.
Well, thank you so much, Kristi. We appreciate you doing this interview with us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.